this party moving right along. You can see by these gorgeous gals up here on the screen, we are moving into our blogger section of the panel, which is really, really cool. How many of you out there have a blog? See? Not surprised. Well, you're going to love hearing from these three ladies on standby right now. I'm going to start with Jordan Reid, who grew up in NYC, studied, get this, neuroscience at Harvard, co-created the very clever FX series It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Ever see that show? Yeah. All of that before turning to her passions of fashion, beauty, entertaining, home decor, and a whole lot more. Famous for her online offering, hopefully you're logging on, it's Ramshackle. My contacts, ramshackleglam.com. Her webcasts currently have millions of loads per year on Vimeo and YouTube. Also a lifestyle expert and contributor. You've probably seen her on TV as well. Better TV, MSNBC, VH1. Jordan has also mastered some powerful partnerships with Hugh. There she is. We're just going to talk about you before you come in the room. You're like, where am I? Keep coming, because you're so busy, I'm still talking here. These partnerships you've created with DKNY, Olay, Old Navy, Timex, Dove, TJ yes. Maxx. You are very, very busy. We also are going to make sure to discuss your YouTube show In the House.
Jordan in the House.
Jordan in the House in its second season. And you have 2 kids on top of all that.
Well, I have one kid who's a 2-year-old, but it feels like having 2 kids. He's a handful, yeah.
I gave you one bonus kid because you're so busy.
I'll take him.
Okay, wow. Please welcome Jordan to the panel.
Thank you, guys. I'm really excited to be here.
Cool. I'm going to scoot over because you may or may not have to hold that. Okay.
Can you hear me? Is this on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, okay? Also in the wings, Sunkiss Alba, New York native as well, also a mom, wildly popular for her. There it is, curly hair, her cute curly hair tips and style advice for moms on the go. Not a lot of moms look like this. Represent for the moms out there. I'm a mom, well done. And talk about stats. You have 235,000 plus.
Actually, 260.
There she goes. See, when this was printed, I mean, look what you've done in 24 hours. All of those subscribers on YouTube. Please welcome Alba Garcia. And last but not least, who follows We Wore What? Here she comes. The New York Post describes her as one of the elite fashion bloggers in the U.S. right now, period. And they are right. Fashion blogger who began your journey simply posting street style pics, right, on your blog, and social media offerings have morphed into basically one fabulous, gorgeous fashion diary. Freelance stylist, writer, consultant, blogger, all of that. Danielle Bernstein, welcome. I can't believe I gave you 2 kids. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's great. I mean, maybe one day.
Maybe I know something you don't know. At the last panel, I introduced one of our amazing stylists, and I said, oh my God, she's a mom. She's like, I'm not a mom. Like, sometimes the information doesn't trickle down to me. But anyway, welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah. Blogging. I mean, so much of why we're sitting here today has to do with tastemakers like yourself making this massive imprint on the fashion culture as a whole. So let's start with you, Danielle. I mean, you first, what was it? It was a hobby for you. You know, you like to get dressed, you love clothes, and then boom, now it's a business for you.
So We Wore What actually started as a street style blog. Picked up a camera one day and realized I wanted to provide girls that maybe weren't around all this amazing fashion in New York City with that daily source of outfit inspiration. So eventually I flipped the camera on myself and realized a personal style blog was really A, the moneymaker, B, what I love doing, and could really become a business.
And Alba, how about you?
Pretty much the same, where it started off as a hobby, and it was 3 years ago, and then until maybe a year later, I started taking it really seriously, and it just picked up, and I have so many subscribers now, and it's still insane to me today that I have this many people tuning in and watching me.
I agree, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Like, when I see the numbers and I think about back then, it's like, how did I get here?
Well, I think that's a good place to start. I mean, everybody has a story, and so much of this is about sharing your stories because you're all doing what you're doing very successfully. But I want to get right to the information because I know so many of you bloggers out there are like, I want high numbers. What am I not doing right? How do I get my followers up and all that? So let's just get into some tips right away. What advice do you have for people trying to build their audience, trying to grow their audience the way that you guys have done?
I would say, you know, it's a creative industry, and it's an honor to be able to do it. It's exciting. You're a writer, or, you know, you're a photographer, or whatever it is that you do. But it's also so important to remember that this is a business, and you have clients. And so for me, the way that I've been able to maximize my opportunities is by consistently seeking to exceed expectations. And that means, you know, creating proposals for clients. I'm not just like, hey, like, hire me. I actually create a proposal. I follow through with a recap email and, you know, a spreadsheet after I finished a proposal. So it's about doing those you know, boring business things that really can help your site go from hobby to actual career and actual business.
Good advice.
Well, for me, since I'm mostly a video blogger, I think the most important thing, coming from not having much viewers or much subscribers at all, I think the most important thing is just creating something that's original and something that's trending at the same time. Something that hasn't been done, but something you know will, well, you always have like that feeling like, okay, this is gonna do really good, and put time into it. Do something that's clean and crisp, something that has like really good detail, and someone out there's gonna appreciate it, and next thing you know, there's like, I don't know, 100 people, then 100,000 people.
I think blogging is definitely a super hard industry to break into right now, especially since everyone is like trying to make a blog and stuff. So I think a lot of it has to do with staying organic and true to yourself, and learning when to say no to certain brands. Because once you start up a blog and you start gaining followers, people will be approaching you left and right. So I think learning to say no has been one of the hardest things, but also one of the most important. So, I mean, I won't work with any brand that I don't truly like or I won't truly wear on my blog. And sometimes it's hard and it's a little awkward, but it's really important to balance out that relationship.
I think, as you mentioned, so many people, everybody, you know, has a website or a blog or whatever these days. To really monetize and make it a business, the work involved. I mean, I think that's what most people, especially if you're not connected to what it means to keep up a blog or to get a YouTube channel going or to, you know, contribute in any way, the work that it takes. I mean, it's essentially like a 24-hour day job. People have to
100%.
realize that that's what goes into it. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, just to speak on monetizing, I think like if you're starting a blog, don't go into it to make money, because that's not going to work. I mean, for me, I started and it wasn't even really a full-blown industry at that point. So I think definitely starting it as something you really love is going to show, and finding that right balance. But definitely, yeah.
I actually came at it from a kind of different perspective. I had never read a blog other than Press Hilton. When I quit, I literally quit my job. This was stupid. Don't do this. I quit my job and I started a blog the next day. And it was a crazy, crazy thing to do. But I actually did go into it with the eye towards making it my business, because I wasn't viewing it as, let me get brands to pay me to incorporate them into my site. I was viewing it as, I am constructing a living resume of the very best work that I can do in writing, in photography, in hosting, in video work, and putting it out there and sort of seeing how it grew organically and how it could spin off into sort of different satellite, and that's sort of what has happened, is it spun off in lots of different directions.
Your fans are obviously so dedicated and so instrumental in your success, because if they're not following and they're not logging on or they're not watching, then what do you have, right? But for you guys specifically, how important is the networking and the relationships with the brands and with other people? Because it you know, when you watch you guys on Instagram or whatever it is, you know, it seems like such an isolating profession. You guys are always on, and there are your clothes, and they're talking, you know, but it is so much about relationships still for you guys, right?
100%. I think networking is one of the most important parts of this business, and creating relationships with the brands that you work with are going to be the reason that brand chooses to work with you over maybe someone who maybe has more of a following than you, but if they have a relationship with you already, they'll choose you, or you'll pop into their head first. So yeah, but being a fearless networker, I think, is one of the reasons that I've got to where I am today. Just going up to someone at the party that is maybe an editor and someone you're scared to talk to, just taking that step and going to say hi and introducing yourself with confidence is definitely really important.
Yeah, and the relationships that you cultivate, one of the things that I found sort of most instrumental is being consistently appreciative of the fact that this is a collaboration. Everything I do, it might be my face on it or my writing, but it is a collaboration with so many people, every single project. And so it's so important to always give credit where it's due, and always make sure that your focus is not only on what you're doing, but on making those around you look really good.
And you have to be very smart with the people that you collaborate with companies as well, because if you collaborate too much, it can seem, well, with YouTube, it can seem that you're just doing it for the money. You know, your subscribers are very smart, and they can catch on, and they can just see it as, okay, she's doing it for a paycheck. So if you do something that is meaningful and they know that it's something that you love, or you express it however you want, it just comes off more natural.
How much emphasis do each of you put on your relationship with your fans? I mean, that's a whole other job in and of itself. Like, you create the art, you create the product, you're, you know, dealing with these brands, you got to make money, but then, you know, people want to touch and feel and hear you guys from you.
Right.
So how much emphasis do you put on that?
Oh, that's just the fun part. That's that's the best part. I mean, I'd say a good 70% of my readership consists of women in their early 20s who are sort of trying to find their footing in creative industries, and so they're writing for advice. And the idea, I mean, I went through a rough career time in my 20s, and so the feeling of being able to give back and sort of help women who are going through a similar thing is absolutely the most exciting part of my job.
Yeah, I think fans are the reason I have success, and my followers are everything. So, like, someone coming up to me on the street, it makes my day. It's humbling, and it just confirms that I'm doing something right. And so I think like commenting and responding to comments on something like Instagram or my fan mail is really important, and I definitely try and answer as much as possible.
I was just going to say that having every type of social media you can have, that helps so much, because a lot of people only like Twitter. Some people only like Instagram. Some people like Facebook the most, you know? So having these things can just you can have a better opportunity to connect with your subscribers in a better way.
So you feel like it distills? I'm interested. Do you think it just like sort of, if you have all these different channels, it sort of like decreases the amount of engagement on each channel, but overall it increases engagement?
Well, I have 2 channels actually, and those are the ones that do the best, because it's just a Spanish one and an English one.
Yeah.
And I just keep it at that, very simple.
Yeah.
So it's just easy for people to find me that way.
No, but I think I know what you mean. Like, if you have Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and Pose or whatever it is, can you oversaturate and therefore...
Yeah, I definitely think you can.
You do?
Instagram is my most important social media channel to me, and I just forward my Instagrams to Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. So it's kind of, I feel like you can really know my blog through my Instagram, and obviously I want readers to go to my actual website, but if you don't have the time for that, or you're just on your phone all day, then my Instagram is really, it's been the most important.
A lot of people don't even know I have a video out until I Instagram a picture.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, yeah, it's an important way of letting people know that new content is up there.
Right, the cross-promoting.
Yeah.
On the different channels. We talked about the importance of feedback from your fans and engaging with them often, but as anybody who logs on anything, if you have any type of social media, we know that the hater's gonna hate.
I love haters.
I love when I wear some on E-News and they're like, don't ever wear that again, you green mermaid whale. I'm like, oh my God. I've heard it all. Put those pants away, burn that. Anyway, how do you deal with
being pregnant on the internet?
Oh my God.
Oh.
They're like, oh, this, you don't wear that. You shouldn't be wearing shorts. It doesn't matter. It's noise and it's all fun, and it means that people care. And it's true, and it's you gotta like sift through the negative part and understand that what they're saying is, I care and I want to hear back from you and I want to connect.
Yeah,
so true.
I'm one of those people that's really nice to haters, because when I'm nice, exactly, when I'm nice to them, I don't know what, but they just like leave me alone. Like,
that's interesting.
They obviously like me because they're kind.
So you kill them with kindness. What do you do, Danielle?
Well, I mean, if I show a little too much back, I get things like porn, or just like, I'm flagging this, and just, I mean, I really like haters, because haters means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It doesn't it ever, I mean, it's so healthy to say that, because I just do the same thing. I'm like, listen, let it roll, 15 years of doing this, like, but it can stick with you, right? Yeah. I mean, sometimes you go to bed and you're like, God, you're still focusing on that one negative thing somebody said instead of 1,000 nice things you heard.
If it was something I could respect and it was well written and it was a comment that was just truly commenting on my style, then I would say, okay, like, that kind of got to me a little bit, but otherwise it's really, they're mostly stupid comments. So.
Yeah. Before we take questions from you guys, because I know you have a lot of questions for these girls, if someone, say, really is just at the beginning of their road as far as contributing to the fashion industry from their creative platform, whether it's blogging or a website or whatnot, what would you say is key for them, key components from the get-go that they need to define for what they're doing?
My first thing would be to find your niche and be different. You need to find something that someone hasn't done before, or else it's going to be hard to get noticed. That's my biggest thing.
For me, I think allowing people to see your personality, get to know you a little bit, is what really keeps them there. Because you can put up a video, you can put up a picture as much as you want, but when they really get to know you, that's when they really feel like, oh, maybe she's like a friend just giving me advice, you know? So it feels more personal.
I think, you know, if you want to be in this industry, chances are you probably have the talent necessary to do it just by virtue of the fact that you're trying to get into it. But what really makes people stand apart is this ability and willingness to work hard, to get it done, and to follow through. Because the big secret that I've discovered in life is that is that no one follows through. People are a lot of talk and they say they're going to do this, and when you find someone who actually does, people notice and the work will come.
So true. You guys have questions for these guys? What? Yes, I knew it.
So we always hear, we hear about making blogging a business. Can we actually go into detail? Yes, we know you can collaborate with brands. You can, you know, obviously reward styles. You can through commission. Can we go into details? I'm just starting a blog. What is the best way to actually make it a business?
Well, I'll start on that, what you said, Reward Style. So if you guys don't know, Reward Style is an affiliate marketing program that's just for bloggers. So it's basically a way I make commission. If you click on a link on my blog and you go buy something, really anything from that site within a 30-day period, I make a percentage of it. So that's definitely a very consistent way to make money through blogging. And then there's advertisements, but if you're doing advertisements on your blog, you want to be very specific about it and picky about what you choose to show, or else it'll look just like way too busy. And then other ways is collaborating with brands. And a lot of brands actually don't really know how to work with bloggers. I mean, more and more brands are getting on board and they're coming up with their own sort of campaigns for us, but there's been a lot of times where I thought, okay, I love this brand, I want to work with them, let me come up with this idea, I'll send it to them in an email. Yes, so sometimes I used to do more outreach than now. Now it's a lot more incoming, but I think when you're initially starting out, the outreach is very important, and don't be afraid to email a brand that you love.
Did you just like send them a proposal? This is what I
Yeah, proposal, show them your numbers, show them what you think you could do and how that can be beneficial for them. Yeah.
And I work with a management company now, and they sort of broker most of the deals that I do with companies. But in the beginning, the reality is I worked a lot for free. I did. And I, you know, someone calls up and they're like, would you like to host this segment? Of course.
Yeah.
And then you do a good job and they're like, oh, someone shows up on time and does a good job. And then the next time you ask for a little bit of money, and then the next time maybe you actually get paid or you get put on staff as a host. But yeah, the reality is when you're starting off in a creative field, there's a lot of competition, and so you have to really be willing to put in that work and to pay your dues in order to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, you got to leave that ego at the door.
Oh, yeah.
You got to leave that ego in those early days. But
Yeah.
you've really managed to parlay now. I mean, all these brand endorsements that you do and these relationships. I mean, how do you determine? Because you've done quite a few different like campaigns and whatnot. How do you determine for you personally what you do versus maybe what you don't do? It
What
all
I
has
do
to be
versus
in
what I don't.
alignment with your brand, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, what's very important to me is this is going to sound hokey, but it's very important to me to work with brands that really encourage women and sort of have this very specific attitude and sort of this openness. And so, like Dove, for example, we all know Dove. It's all about accepting difference and really encouraging, you know, people to embrace their unique selves. And so that's really what I look like or look for in a brand. I tend not to work with sort of super high-end fancy brands because that's not what I wear. I'm a TJ Maxx girl, so
Yep.
that's just the reality.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Other questions? Go ahead. Stand up.
Hi, my name is Maddie. My blog is Love Pure Fashion. I just want to know, like, what are your long-term goals with your blog? Like, where do you see it taking you, like, say, in the next 2-3 years? What will be the next step?
For me, my long-term goal is to have my own hair care and skincare line that's all organic, pure, natural ingredients.
For me, I've really wanted to break into more video stuff and TV. So I recently just signed with William Morris, who Catt's with us out. Right?
Yep.
So that's really exciting, and I'm just sort of getting into that field right now.
And I have my first book is coming out in the spring, so my the next step, well, more books, and also I'm moving into merchandising.
Does everyone in this room, and I'm sure you guys consider this, think about, because you hear about when's the bubble going to burst? You know, how much blogging can we do? Then what's next?
Right.
And, you know, it's like kind of like Twitter, right? Who was it? Did Lo Bosworth said earlier today, are people still even on Twitter? Because 3 years ago, that was all anybody did. And now it's Instagram. It's always, do you guys, does that concern you? Is that why I'm sure it's important for all of you to have the next goal? Everybody has to have, you have to have that big overall strategy for what is next, because you just never know at any minute what's going to dissolve.
Right.
I mean, I think I'll be blogging until people stop caring about me. Obviously, I want it to lead into more than that, but I'll always keep, I mean, I think of my blog as more of a service. So if you don't know what to wear in the morning, go to my blog, and it's just endless outfit inspiration, picture after picture. So it's not as much creative for me as it is like I feel bad if I don't post one day because you guys can't look at something to wear. So I think I'll always be blogging, but doing more as well.
Yeah, you know, that was a source of enormous stress for me when I started out, and continues to be stressful today because I have a family. This is a reality. This is my job, and we're in an industry that's changing so much every day that there is the question: where is this going? Is this still going to be here in a year? But what I have discovered over the past 2 years, especially, is that the boundaries for the directions that this career can go in are limited only by my willingness to evolve. And so, you know, I started out as a blogger 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but then when people come to me and say, can you host a show? Can you write a book? Can you create this collection? My answer is just, yep, yes I can. And so that's been really surprising and exciting and a little overwhelming, but I think it just speaks to the endless opportunities in this industry.
And you studied neuroscience at Harvard?
I did. My parents were not happy when I was like, I'm going to Hollywood to be an actress.
Well, you know, in a couple decades, you can go back to like a life surgeon. I don't know. That's amazing. Wow. Other questions, guys? Go ahead.
So, as a designer, what do you find is the best way to contact bloggers such as yourself? Like, what are things that you look for when someone contacts you? Because blogging is important for a designer to get a product out there and things like that. So, what would be some tips?
Well, when I receive almost 250 emails a day from people, so it's really hard. I definitely look for emails that in the subject are super straightforward, like, we want to send you product, or we want to collaborate you, here's our fee. So being really straightforward and knowing what you want to do ahead of time, I think is really important. Just don't like send paragraphs of email, you know, just get straight to the point, because it's hard. We have to sort through them, and for me, it takes a long time to get through my emails every day, so.
That is true. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it's like, hi Jordan, that could be spam, that could be anything, and so it's
or like a press email.
Or a press email, and so I feel bad when I miss emails from people who are actually trying to contact me on a personal level, and it's just like in the subject line, it's so much easier, and then you just know to open it and you don't miss it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm 16, and I just started my first blog this summer called MJ, and I'm not only blogging about personal style, but also food and fitness. So because I'm so young, I almost feel like older women or girls who are maybe your age will not necessarily want to take advice from a 16-year-old. So what do you suggest doing to gain the trust of these followers? Like, how do I make my material appealing to them?
Well, I'm 21, so I'm also young like you, but I actually started 3 years ago, so I was pretty young when I started as well. And I have my mom's friends being like, we just bought something from Danielle's blog today. And, you know, I think if you're just stay true to your style and don't really think about, oh, I have to appeal to older women as well, and don't think, oh, I'm 16, people aren't going to listen to me, because they're not going to look at your blog and be like, wait, let me see how old she is. Like, don't even put it in your about me unless you're all about it, but. Yeah, just definitely. I mean, you can own the fact that you're 16 and you appeal to older women. Like, that would be really cool. But just definitely write with confidence, and you know what you're doing. Obviously, you're dressed really cute, so do it.
Yeah, and I don't do what you guys do exactly, but I don't know that you want to cast your net to get every age group. I mean, that isn't, the more specific your blog is and your brand is, the more defined you will be, and therefore people will know what they're getting when they come to you.
Yeah, you're not going to get the 25-year-olds looking for career wear, but that's fine. You have what you appeal to the people that make sense for your demographic.
Yeah,
and that doesn't mean
older women want to look young. So
well, I was just gonna say, I was just gonna say, don't count us out, the old people, because that's
don't even worry about it.
That's how I try to stay somewhat current. Is like I'm always hiring or keeping people around me that are like straight out of the cosmetic school to do my makeup. Like I want people around me that are fresh and that are keeping it real and current, and so. We still come and log on to the, I could be your mother, but that's okay. Okay, anyway, anybody else? Go ahead.
Hi, I think you mentioned the content, but also regarding the numbers, just like one of the things, the checks with numbers. I know certain brands or PR companies will look at your site stats. So what are some like SEO tricks, and do you also work on the SEO on your own sites, or do you have like a web guy doing it?
Yeah.
Some advice on that realm.
For me, SEO is obviously really important. So little things like naming your images, Danielle dash Bernstein dash we were what, naming your images in ways where if you type it into Google, those things will show up first, and labeling, and on Instagram something like hashtagging, but definitely online. Work with a web guy maybe to get started and learn a little bit. There's a ton of articles you could read about, but definitely learn it yourself so that you can be doing it over time and constantly.
I disagree slightly, actually, just because I was like, oh, I have to be doing this SEO thing. So I started like naming my images. But my feeling is it's nice, and it's like a nice added bonus that if someone Googles like, I don't know, rose gold purse, they come up with your site and then they click on it. But my feeling is that your readership is primarily comprised of people who aren't finding you through SEO stuff exactly, and who are like genuine readers who are just there for you. So SEO, do it. But certainly don't pay anyone to do it. Just do it. I mean, you can like Google SEO tricks and just implement those basic things. Yeah.
How are we on time, Elena?
The next one.
One question or next panel? Last question, right there. Just last one. Sorry. Real quick, before I get in trouble.
Well, for me, I read other blogs as well. I love my friends' blogs and trend blogs and street style blogs, but I think it's really important to know the trends, but not necessarily follow them all the time, because you still want to stay true to your style. So if you weren't into the Birkenstock trend and you didn't wear it, like, good for you. Like, you didn't have to wear it just because everyone else was and it was in Vogue and whatever else. So, I mean, for me, I just follow other blogs and I look at retailers.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really cool when you see a celebrity and they have a really awesome look and you really like it, and then take that look and make it really affordable for like the everyday girl. That's amazing to me.
Anything else?
I kind of steer clear of, I don't really read other blogs, and it's not because I'm being snobby. I feel like it does, it gets in my head, and sort of the way that I keep my content very true to what I want to be saying is by sort of shutting that out and just doing my thing. Yeah.
Do you. Let's end on do you and do it well. Okay, thank you to our blogging panel so much. Fantastic, you guys. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Awesome.